Big Burb. Big Bad Burb.
Welcome to the Big Burb channel.
Seeing all of the comments, manual transmission versus automatic transmission. We're going automatic. What's your first thought there and explanation for that?
Well, I know a lot of people want a manual transmission, but unfortunately, just what my first thoughts are is not everybody can drive a stick. I mean, it's something that I'd love to have, and not that I won't build it at any other truck, but when it comes to any kind of safety or kind of emergency situation, my wife brought up a really good point. Well, if we were camping, right, and we're in the middle of nowhere and I busted my leg or did something stupid, which as guys, we might do, she said, well, who's going to drive you down the hill? I can't drive this thing. So, I mean, when it comes to all kind of practicality, she's more practical than, I guess, us men.
So are there any drawbacks to the automatic? Like any reason why, if that wasn't an issue, you might choose a manual other than preference?
Well, a manual, you don't need the air starter, where you can literally take a hill and, pop start that thing down a hill and get it going without a battery, and, you use the motion of the hill itself to put it in gear and get the engine running.
Okay, moving on to the Bedslide idea and the turret. There was the concept of, is this the best place for it? Someone said you should put it on the roof. Billy on the phone from over at our channel said we could have interchangeable slide outs, or basically multiple different things going on with the slide out. And how possible do you think that is for us?
Actually, I love the idea. I mean, the turret was already going to be able to unbolt and bolt it off already. So when it comes down to it, I mean, it's just an option. That's not something that we're going to leave there all the time. So, I mean, when it comes to, putting maybe a hunting compartment on it, maybe a medical compartment on it, a scavenging compartment, a fuel compartment, there's different varieties of things we can put in that bed slide. And it can be very practical. I mean, I even saw one person mention maybe putting a hoist or a lift on there would be awesome.
I love the idea of, okay, you've got your tank-like option, you've got your search and rescue and maybe like medical option, you've got your storage option, you've got your take it out and fit more people in there option.
Heck, we could do a double row of seats if we wanted to.
So I guess now just explain to everyone why we are at so much greater a heliophysical risk from the sun right now and going into the future.
Next question, please.
That explains!
I always come to you with the happy news, don't I? In the episodes up to now, we have learned how at risk our electrified world is while we're living with the sun. Every 150 to 200 years, the solar eruptions are big enough to send us back to a time before electricity, and it's been about 163 years since the last one. But it gets worse, because Earth's magnetic field is not doing so well, and this is the answer to the last question as Rocky and I sat on the couch. The protective interface with energy from space is a magnetic field that wraps around our planet and protects the atmosphere, the life, the oceans, and the planetary interior. This field has an excursion, or rapid reversal, about every 10 to 15,000 years, and we are due for the next one. But not only are we due, the magnetic field of Earth has already begun to weaken. The magnetic poles are shifting and accelerating faster and faster. These events bring climate chaos when they occur, increased volcanic activity, and ultra-high exposure of the biosphere to UV light and cosmic rays. Our technology, our DNA, our weather, all more vulnerable by the day. The solar risk is a big deal on its own, but the full-scale cosmic Super Bowl is about to play out on Earth as a magnetic excursion is readying once again. Based on several peer-reviewed studies, as this event progresses and cosmic ray bombardment, space energy pounding the surface increases, we should also be seeing an increase in cognitive diminution and emotional instability amongst the population. And come on, that's basically Earth right now. So be thankful for your sanity if you still have it, and keep paying attention. Even our favorite all-American companies are going crazy on us.
As you may have remembered back in episode 2, we had an issue with the transmission. The transmission out of the donor truck was a 47RE transmission and not the 47RH transmission that we were looking for. What this means is that the 47RE transmission is electronically controlled, where the 47RH transmission is hydraulically controlled. This is a part that we need to make this thing EMP proof. However, this extra cost can be avoided if you sourced a 1995 Dodge donor truck or went with a manual transmission instead. I was able to find this 47RH transmission right outside of Casper, Wyoming. This transmission was listed for $2,500 on Facebook Marketplace. After speaking to the seller, I was able to meet up and get it for $1,800. And he also threw in a custom-built triple-disc torque converter. However, I'm very happy that I did get a better deal on this, because after I took it to the shop, we found out that the planetary gears were showing a lot of wear and the direct is burnt up, which means it wasn't as built as he said it was. It did have some good parts as far as a Trans-Go shift kit, a Suncoast valve body, Alto redline clutches, but unfortunately we're going to have to go through this thing for an extra $4,365.21. I was also able to pick up a billet input shaft from Suncoast for $844.14. This is also a very crucial part, because if anything's going to break, it's going to be this connection between your motor and your transmission, especially when you're putting 650 horsepower to it. And this takes us into our next section, the build cost so far. Everybody's favorite part. You know it's mine. As you can see down the list, things have gotten expensive, and transmissions will do that to you. The parts total so far now is $16,497.58, with a labor total of $6,372. The labor didn't jump up much this week, but the parts did. The build total so far is $22,869.58. The total parts and labor needed for the swap only is now up to $12,317.35 for any of those keeping track. Please note, the $6,582.64 total listed in episode 4 was only for the parts needed for the swap so far, and did not include any labor for the swap. What you're looking at here is your 47RH overdrive lockup control, relay and wiring scheme or diagram. You can see these 6 relays match up to the diagram I just showed you. And I already started wiring this together, but I'll show you how to wire this all the way. So you may be asking, why do we need this device? What makes this device so important? Why are we wiring this up in the first place? Well, simple answer is, this allows us not to use a computer at all. We just have a simple little relay board that we hook up to a switch that will hook up our lockup and our overdrive switch. Yes, you may be wondering, oh yeah, this could be compromised during an EMP event. Well, luckily you'll still have all your other gears, and you really don't need overdrive or lockup to drive the vehicle, so you can go back, put some of this stuff in your Faraday cage, and prepare for yourself to wire it up later when you have some time, because you'll have plenty of it. So let's get wiring, and as I'm going, you can see already I'll have this in front of me, and I wired this section, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight each section I've done as I go. One thing to note as you're looking over the 47RH wiring diagram is that there's an on, off, and on position. You actually don't need the off position, it's just a placeholder. You only need 2 ons for the overdrive and lockup. You could get away with using a double momentary toggle switch. However, just note that this is set up to disengage when you tap or step on the brake pedal. You can also use pressure control switches if you do not want to go with the relays. Alright, it's really important now to make sure you crimp these nice and tight as you're buttoning up all your connections. But as you can see right here, this is all wired up and ready to go. I have the 6 relays already inserted, and then I went ahead and I started marking these per each destination. Your turn.
Big Burb, Big Bad Burb.